The following takes place between 7 p.m. Friday and Wild Card Weekend. Events occur in real time.
Wow, that 24 train just keeps on chugging along. I cannot believe that we are less than 1 month away from 24 Legacy. Oh my god, the time has flown by. And today I am going to be talking about 24 Season 7. That's a mild spoilers disclaimer. I will be touching on a few things in this video that are deemed spoilers. You have been warned. So Season 7 takes place 4 years after Season 6. That's right, this is a huge time jump. 24 Redemption sort of bridges that a little bit, but if I recall, 24 Redemption takes place a few months before Season 7. So it's a huge time jump either way. And in Season 7, you have Jack being brought before a Senate subcommittee to basically answer for all the atrocities and the torture and the laws that he broke in the past when he was running CTU and when he was a part of CTU. This means that Jack and some of the other people at CTU are basically having their names and their reputations being dragged through the mud because CTU has been shut down and this Senator Blaine Mayer dude is attacking everyone who was a part of that agency in the past, and he looks at Jack Bauer as prime enemy number 1. Immediately right off the bat, we don't like this dude. We don't like the dad from that 70s show. We just don't like him. He's a dick and he's attacking our favorite character, and we just don't like him for that shit. The subcommittee gets interrupted because Jack is needed by the FBI. The FBI has been tracking this terrorist group. This terrorist group has been doing a bunch of little electronic thefts, and they have built a device called the CIP device. It's a nifty little piece of technology that basically allows them to hack God itself. I'm just kidding. They don't get to hack God, but they get to hack pretty much every major installation around the country, infrastructure, that kind of thing. Jack once again finds himself swept up into another terrorist threat adventure. If you watch 24 Redemption, you know 2 of the enemies in the season already, Ike Dubaku and Colonel Juma. They are really 2 of the major big bads this season, and they pretty much take up the first half of the season. And they're based out of the fictional nation of Sangala, which America is trying to aid. Second half of the season is really more of a domestic threat. It really has to do with a biological weapon and some homegrown terrorists that are a little bit irritated about how they've been left out in the cold. I can't talk about anything else before I talk about Renee Walker. Renee Walker is played by Annie Wersching this season, and holy shit. I haven't seen this much sexy and badass packaged into one character since Michelle Dessler back in season 3. In fact, I think it's fair to say that Renee Walker might be the most badass female character in 24 history. What I love about Annie Wersching's performance this season is that she's basically like a female Jack Bauer if Jack Bauer still had feelings. I mean, we know Jack Bauer is pretty much a superhero at this point. He's Jack Wolverine Bauer. That's what he is. And at this point, Jack has no chill and gives no fucks about anybody else's feelings. He's just like, look, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to save these people and to preserve innocent life. And if you don't like it, these nuts. Renee, she's willing to push the envelope and she's willing to go the extra mile for the job, and she's willing to cross that line a few times. But unlike Jack, she's still in the stage where she's very conflicted about it, and you can just see this kind of internal fight going on with you throughout the season. That and the way that she reacts to certain situations make her feel really real and relatable, even though she's a badass like Jack. Did I mention sexy? Yeah, she is bad as hell, fine as hell, beautiful. Oh my god. The only nitpick I have with her character is that she's on like basically an emotional roller coaster ride for most of the season. She goes from not trusting Jack to liking him a lot, to hating his guts, to trusting him again with her life, to hating him again, and then towards the end of the season, she's pretty much sitting on his lap. I'm kidding. We'll save that for season 8. I meant that metaphorically, not literally. Hey, we just gotta go on this big roller coaster ride with her, and I got something I want her to ride too. Again, I'm kidding. Relax. It's a joke. Mostly. Either way, her dynamic with Jack is one of the most fascinating things about Season 7. I mean, he's pretty much this grizzled, battle-hardened warrior of epic proportions. And she's like young warrior, taking her lumps and learning in the process that maybe she and Jack aren't so different after all. There's a scene towards the end of the season that perfectly captures the dynamic between these two characters, and I love that. I also love how refreshing this season feels. This season does feel like it takes the show in a few refreshing new directions. For one thing, the show doesn't take place in LA anymore. In this season, it all takes place in Washington, D.C. That's really awesome. Every other season has taken place in or around Los Angeles. This season takes place in Washington, D.C., right there in the heart of America. I really do think that that's something new and that's something refreshing, and I think that gives this show a jolt of energy that it didn't have in season 6. I also want to talk about the villain element. The villains in this season, so badass. I don't think I'm being overreactionary here. I think some of the villains in season 7 of 24 rank among the best in the show's history. Ike Dubaku and General Juma are both badass and menacing and everything, but they're also people and you can totally understand where they're coming from. In fact, this season, more than almost any other season in history, you can totally get and understand where all of these characters are coming from, and that's what I love about it. And both Ike Dubaku and General Juma have the added benefit of having some of their terrorist attacks actually turn out to be successful. There is a thrilling attack on the White House towards the middle of the season that you have to see to believe. It's illogical as hell, but still, it's amazing and awesome, and you should see it. Then you have Jonas Hodges coming in as a villain towards the latter half of the season. This dude is pretty much a James Bond villain without actually being a James Bond villain. All that he's missing is a monocle and, a scar on his face and a home kind of laugh. I love the fact that they brought back the older characters and they incorporated them so well into the season. We get to see Chloe again. She is just as much a techno-whiz as she ever was, and she is still ride or die Team Bauer. We love Chloe. She's kind of a recurring character in the season, but when she's in it, she's awesome. Bill Buchanan comes back. We get to see Bill again, and it's great, but his return is very heroic and also tragic, and I'm not going to spoil how or when he dies, but when he does, it's really fucking brutal. Outside of Jack and Chloe, pretty much everyone is fair game and no one else is untouchable. But Bill, the way he dies and the music and the way Jack reacts to it, oh my god, it's just sad shit, for real. Allison Taylor as the president, I mentioned her a little bit in 24 Redemption. What I love the most about her character is that she's got this stubborn optimism and this hard-headed hopefulness that is really contagious. Very idealistic, she's very full of integrity, and you want to believe her whenever she says something. She doesn't care if an entire room is against her, an entire room is telling her, nah, that's a bad idea, Madam President. She's all about her principles, she's all about her virtues, and that really, 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 really makes her stand out among the presidents that we've had in the past, not named David Palmer. As far as issues with this season, I have to say that some of the characters are a little bit hot and cold. Larry Moss, for instance, I did not like this dude when I first saw him. He's such a self-righteous cunt nugget, and he just gets in Jack's face and he's all holier than thou. He thinks the FBI and the rules are above reproach, and he just hates Jack like beyond reason, and he just always is on his case. He even insinuates that Terry dying is Jack's fault later on in the season. And because we love our Jack Bauer, we're not gonna take that shit from this long-nosed fucker here trying to diss our Jack. No. You can go somewhere with that, Larry. But maybe Larry Moss is kind of like a piece of moss. It takes a while to grow on you. Towards the middle and end of the season, I actually started to respect Larry Moss a little bit, so I'll give him a pass on that. But all the other characters are kind of disposable. There is such an obvious mole at FBI. Like, as soon as you see the dude, you're just gonna know, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, you're a mole. It's so obvious, they don't even make an attempt to hide it. Also, Janice Goldman, she's like this tech whiz analyst at FBI, and she's just a whiny, bitchy, complainier, less awesome version of Chloe. They do reference that later on in the season, but I'm just saying it's there for anyone who wants to notice. Also, Tony Almeida makes his return this season. What? That's right, back in the day when Tony died and there was no silent clock and people were like, what does that mean? That means Tony gets to come back in the season, and it's great to see Tony back, except I don't really like what they did with his character. I won't spoil what happens, but just suffice it to say I don't really like the way his character was handled down the stretch. 24 Season 7 has some of the best action scenes and stunt work of any season in the past. A great FBI breakout sequence. Jack basically runs somebody over with a tractor, stabs them in the chest with a screwdriver, and beats them in the face with a wooden block. And this season is entertaining, it's refreshing, and it gives us a great new character in Renee Walker. There's just so much to love about this season. I'm gonna push it, and I'm gonna say that this season, while it is great, I gotta knock it down a peg because there are some issues that it has that keep me from wanting to love it as much as I do, but I still do love it. It's just different levels of love. I will say that 24 Season 7 is Man of Steel great. Alright guys, that's my review for 24 Season 7. Be sure to check out my other 24 reviews. Can't wait for Legacy. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.